Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel for another iRacing video, and today we're into another mixed class series as we jump into the IMSA Haggerty series. I think it's a C class, might be B class, can't remember off the top of my head, but we jumped into the middle class car. We're in the Corvette C8.R. Bit off the pace in practice and qualified really poorly as well. Let's jump on in, see how we get on. Here we go then, in the Corvette C8 in the IMSA series. We're at Long Beach. What a place to start the series. Qualified pretty poorly, like we're 12th in class. And it looks like we've all split into one single race, so
I'm just looking to survive here.
Hopefully there'll be some freebies along the way, maybe some weaker racers that can
Oh, you picked the right course.
get out of our race, get out of our way for us. We'll see how we get on.
I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm messing around with everything. Get ready.
Alright, let's see how this start is around the fountain.
Post car is off. Time to do your job.
Why'd you give me 4x?
Carbine. Green flag. Green
Your fault,
flag.
man. Your own fault.
Classic Long Beach. Classic Long Beach. Alright, we're away. Don't know what position we're in. That was carnage, of course it was. What an absolute mess.
I'd like to thank the folks for the haircut.
What a mess that was. Well, let's see if we can get down to some actual racing, shall we? X in the hairpin, just like always. To be expected at Long Beach, I think. But we're rocking and rolling. Oh, it's deep into that corner.
For the first turn.
Don't know how many times we need to race at Long Beach before we'll just go single file through there. I was watching a race, I think it was Dan Suzuki in fact, and everyone just goes through single file. It's great, and each class waits for the other one to clear out of the way before they set off. But we just followed the LMPs off the line and then bottlenecked up behind them and had that beautiful concertina effect. Anyway, P7. So that's a turnout for the books across the line.
On the left.
I stopped on the left.
Go right.
Yeah, that's an LMP that's crashed. But yeah, we're running the high downforce setting for this. I've come to realise that I like my setups with quite a lot of downforce. I don't know if that's just hindered me quite a lot in qualifying. I was pretty slow compared to some guys with a much lower rating than me. But when I was trying higher downforce setups in practice, I just couldn't keep control of the car, so especially under braking, it's like I need the downforce to help me slow down, and I was just not getting on well with a with a lower downforce setting. Looks like James ahead just bumped the wall there. But yeah, 45-minute race here, mixed class of course. Sort of a mini endurance, I guess. Not a super endurance, of course. Only 45 minutes, but enough for a pit stop. And the mixed class will certainly add the extra element in for us. We've got LMP2, got the GTE, and the GT. Well, it's GTD, but it's sort of the GT3 class. So pretty much wanting to just preserve myself, preserve my car up until the end. Just like to make it to the end of my first IMSA race, to be honest. Already I'm overdriving it. I found this car seems to really like to smash the brakes in order to actually get them to do anything. To the extent that I've spoken about before, the kind of level of braking that I don't really enjoy doing. I find it really hard to replicate lap on lap. But this Corvette loves big heavy braking, especially at the start of the braking zone. I think it's a mid-engine this, but it does enjoy a bit of trail braking as well, just to get it turned in. Alright, as we cross the line, we're going to be starting lap 4 then. Expecting 35 or 36 laps, probably 35. We're not going to be that fast, I don't think, in this class, or especially in this car at least. 35 lap race. So, plenty to pick up.
You got it, boy, car on the right, go left.
And the guy ahead has finally made that mistake. It's always interesting in a single split race like this. It really does favour the guys with the higher rating. Doesn't give as much rating for a good result, but I mean, like, I think the guy, the leader of the LMP2 class, is like 5k rating. It's pretty much guaranteed to be beating everyone else that's around him. Second place is half his rating, so should be an easy win for him. But yeah, I feel it's never nice when you are the guy that's sort of lowest in the split or whatever, and you know there's absolutely no chance racing against the aliens. But still, you gotta turn laps for 45 minutes, and I guess pray for some freebies along the way. Which, I mean, I guess especially around Long Beach, the freebies will come. As always, when we're at this track, my aim is to not be one of them. That was a bit of a scruffy lap from me there, quite slow as well. Only ran a 19. Not doing too good with my braking for that first corner so far in the race here. Alright, that sun's nice and bright. So bumpy coming down into that corner. Alright, as it's my first time in this series, I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but the GTD or the GT3 class behind, like the pink class on the standings boards, are really closely matched for pace, so actually getting around them is pretty difficult, especially around this tight twisty circuit. It really does need some cooperation from the guy that you're passing, which in practice at least, that cooperation was not coming our way. Coming up on the first GTD car then. Probably victim of a bit of carnage at the start. Maybe perhaps somewhat unexpectedly as well, we're actually going to be lapping our own class fairly soon too. That was a nice yield. Thank you. Got the feeling Wolfgang's probably a bit damaged because he's not really accelerated out of the hairpin there. Still not really setting the timings chart alive with our lap times here. But just keep on trucking. If people behind start to catch, then we'll deal with that problem as it arrives.
3 seconds elapsed from the damage and lap.
Alright, that was a wall right there. That was a wall. So much for not giving ourselves away as a freebie. Just gonna have to pray that that is no damage, or very little damage. All crossed up on the brakes and then it snapped the other way and just fired us straight on. Now we're right in amongst this battle here. That was not an ideal lap whatsoever. Alright, let's hope that's our one and only for the race. And do without silly things like that. Bit of smoke from the Ferrari 2 positions in front. Beamer basically tags the wall. I've got that Porsche all over us. We survived it for now. Alright, need to settle into a rhythm again. This Porsche is going to be all over us though. Alright, got the first LMP coming up behind us as well here. Well, that Porsche move, we're now down into negative I rating, which is not ideal. Knowing that the Porsche got past us because we were just starting to put pressure on the beamer, he was making some mistakes, but not too bothered about fighting for positions at this point in the race. If these guys are what I'd expect rating wise, then I might find a way into a wall before the end of the race anyway. Stay on our normal line for the LMP. Brake it early so he gets us on the brakes.
Clear.
With a bit of luck for us, I'll slow that Porsche down. Alright, now to see if the car is damaged, because if this Porsche pulls away in the slipstream, which it is, then chances are we're probably carrying some damage. Lost the braking marker then in the sun. So we've got a wounded Corvette to carry around for another 30 odd laps. And think of better ways for the opening half of the race to have gone. It was so fast to snap on the brakes when I had that little touch into the wall. I don't feel like I brake particularly different to what I had been doing already. I'll have to look back at this recording and see the telemetry, but oh, these guys are just gapping me now as well. Can't help but feel maybe this is setup related as well as anything else. Damage as well. Maybe I should have spent a little bit more time getting used to the lower downforce configuration. Slowed down probably too much there. I got the yellow flag and couldn't see anything because of the sun.
Car right.
Thank you.
Clear. Go right. Go right.
Thank you very much.
Alright, that was carnage. Absolute shambles in the hairpin. Not the finest driving, I would say, from Shane in front there. I managed to get on the brakes and avoid them, but it just sort of seemed to drive through the beamer. Alright, another one in the wall. That wasn't for position though, that was different class.
Please don't slow me down, Corvette.
Alright, got an LMP coming a little bit away. Probably got us on the main straight actually, that'll be quite a nice place for him to come across us. Oh god, big brake lock up there. Alright, definitely turned into a bit of a race of attrition. To finish first, you must finish. Leader of our class is mixing it up with the LMPs there. Bad for Matthew there, I couldn't really get out of his way. Thought he was going to get us on the main straight, but he was nowhere near by the time we got to the first corner. And that tight twisty section, I mean, the idea is the slower class stays on their line, stays on your normal racing line, it makes you more predictable. But I was just an absolute rolling roadblock for the P2 car there. Look how much I've lost the Porsche in that exchange as well. Oh, now goes very wide. It'll give him a better run down the straight though. By a clever move by the Porsche that actually. In the nicest possible way to Shane as well though. I'm not sure about that 1.1 rating. Surely we'll see him in a wall before the end of the race. I wasn't entirely convinced that Eric wasn't going to dive bomb us then, didn't want to turn in.
Thank you very much, dude.
Oh, that was nearly a wall. That was so nearly a wall. Alrighty. Try and settle back into our rhythm now. Ever since that little wall tap and then those guys got past us and then it was a bit carnage with them. It's just been a little bit frantic, a little bit hectic. We're back into positive iRating range, which is nice. Just keep doing what we're doing. Strategy should be good. We're doing alright for pace. We're in a good position. Need to keep hitting our marks now. Putting together some decent laps hopefully so that we can capitalise on anything going wrong for the people as it happens. Got a call for a slow car ahead, but didn't see anything. We'll just keep on trucking along. Might even just been that the GTD car there came a cropper. Plenty of chatty drivers in the lobby today. Especially about 3 or 4 guys that are deep in conversation in German. And that's very distracting. Porsche comes out of the pits for position by the looks of it. Interesting. He's done his pit stop and he's still ahead of us.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Car stop on the right.
Yellow flag ahead. There's a P2 backwards. That is not the ideal place for a P2 to be sitting. Speaking of, we've got another one coming up behind us. As the GTD moves across for the car that was in front of us. We'll hopefully get him on the straight if he's feeling obliging. And the car that came out of the pits in front of us has now pitted again, which is interesting.
You're in fifth.
So whether that be pitted for crash damage that then didn't get repaired, or what the deal is, I don't know. And this here is what I was saying about the GTD being matched so closely to the GTE.
Right side.
Very close battle, really.
Clear on the right.
You tell him.
Oh god, we're nearly in a wall at that. Ah, nightmare. Messy, 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 messy. Alright, LMP just behind that BMW now. So, is he going to get us down the straight? Maybe not actually, he's still stuck behind the Beamer. This is going to be one of those awkwardly close ones. Just got to stick to my own lines now, try and get through this section as quick as possible for the P2 car so he can get clear sooner rather than later. Last time there was a P2 coming up behind me, I was watching my mirrors, missing gears, all sorts of stupid stuff. Whereas actually if I just do my own thing properly, it'll get him clear sooner rather than later. Alright, James Williamson, next car in class ahead of us, that's the Marlboro sponsored Ferrari 488. He's making a good race through the order there, good rise through the order. Keeping it on track, doing what he's got to do. Oh, is that carnage? Nope, we're clear. There is a car off to the left, looks like he's going slowly though, maybe. Just saw in our class there was a P16 there. I didn't realise there was that many cars in our class, but
You sound like a true gentleman.
it's nice to have a good field compared to that Suzuka race I did the other day in the LMP car. The GTD on the apex. God, I nearly came over on him then. I thought he pulled over to let us go. I nearly just pulled straight across without looking, and then I heard the engine more than anything. Oops. Alright, Alfie behind is slowly catching us up. When I first started paying attention to it, it was at 5 seconds. He's down to 4 now. That's never a nice message to get coming through the hairpin there. It was in fact a lie though. We'll get a bit of a tow from this Beamer to make the move. We'll give him a flash if we're going to do it. Yield us to us nicely. That was a good yield for both of us from the Beamer, thank you sir. Oh god, me and that fountain aren't getting on well today. My racing fastest lap is absolutely atrocious. Not even got into the 17s yet. I mean, I know there's a lot goes on with the lapped cars and stuff like that and being lapped, but
Go, Bacho, go.
wouldn't be surprised if the leaders in class is in the 16s, never mind the 17s. Bit of a poor effort from us. About 9 laps to go until we need to pit. I think for those 9 laps I'll try and fuel save just into T1, just to make sure we can get all the way. Don't forget the engine splitters at point 2, so as it stands it says we're going to basically cross the line at point 2, which is exactly when it starts coughing, which isn't what we want.
Car on your left. Clear on your left.
Absolute rolling roadblock for Sven there. I didn't want him to have to follow us through that. No, it wasn't Sven, it was Matthew again. Matthew again. Didn't want him to have to follow us through that twisted section. He only caught us like that because of the daft fuel saving I was doing. So didn't want to punish him further. That's probably going to have allowed Alfie behind to catch up a little bit more, but so be it.
Are you fixing that?
P2 down the escape road. Alright, and that little bit of fuel save has been enough to get us 0.3 of a litre. So we'll be fine into the pits with that. I'll keep an eye on it through the following laps, but it should just only get better in terms of the calculation. Oh god, he cut across aggressively. Thankfully for me, Alfie's dropped back again a little bit. He must have had trouble as these P2s cleared him. Maybe even a little bit of trouble with those 2 GTDs that were cleared quite recently. Alright, it's really useful having the class map, car class, shown on the track map up the top there. Gives a much better visual indication of where everyone that I'm racing is.
Go right, left side, clear.
The Lamborghini stopped on the exit of the hairpin, not ideal. And now defending, fairly sure this was someone that we came across in practice. It's going to have the pace, then it's no problem, but it's going to slow us down, then that of course is a problem. Let's see how we get on. There's in a wall now, so that's not ideal. Alright, in the end we got past him. fairly well. Sort of used the P2 there to block him in a bit. Oh god. Alright, and on to another one. Lap 23. In our class, but not for position.
You're on the left.
And here's another one in our class, but not for position.
Can you let me by?
You got a quick out on the right.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, James.
Alright, suddenly we're around a lot of cars that are the same pace as us. Oh my lord, I thought he was going to bounce back and get us. Terrifying. You can never rest for a minute in this multi-class action. I know he was the same class as ours, but just the nature of the beast has put him so far behind. There's not many series where you'd have this many of your own class a lap down. I can't think of anything. Maybe the F3 when there's the first lap carnage, but that was very close. Fortunately saw it coming just as it was happening. Alright, temporarily P4 as someone ahead of us in class has gone to pit. Max concentration going on at the minute. Really want to try and get those lap times down a bit. I know I'm probably carrying a bit of damage. The fact that we're not even getting close to the 17s is a bit concerning. Said earlier in the race about the Corvette loving its brakes being smashed, but tried doing that just then and all that happened was I got a lock-up, so that's not where the lap time's coming from. Guess we're going to get a low 18 this time. Alright, holding on to our fourth for now, as the pit stops are still to play their way out. That was a little wall just there. Just wanted to test its sturdiness. It's certainly sturdier than my Corvette, that's for sure. I'm on P5 in the GTD class. Alright. Absolute marathon, these races. Bit more brake locking as we go over the bumps there. Just waiting for the moment where we get punted by this guy behind us. Pitted about mid-race, so probably will be fueled to the end. But he's a lap down on us, of course. Sent it deep.
Cast off on the left. Go right.
Oh, that's a horrible place for the LMP to be trying to get out of. Alright, captured that slide there. Not sure why Bernard was so insistent on getting past from P16, but all credit to him. It was annoying enough that he caused the mistake. We have just got no grip on these tyres anymore. Which is unfortunate because we're going to take these tyres all the way to the end of the race. Nah, I reckon I'm going to have to swap tyres here. I don't know how far down the grid that will put me. Maybe they just got hot.
Yeah, I did.
Alright, tyres seem to be fine with
I'm getting held up by
longer
GP.
braking zones and just nursing them a little bit, so hopefully no need to change them after all.
Oh man, the first like 10 laps of this race, I was getting
Possibly
held up
just
by them.
got a little bit too hot and all that. My driving definitely got a little bit janky through all that exchange. Pick up P3 as someone else from class pits. Alright, that Porsche that came past us a second ago is just come a cropper in the left-hander there. Alright, everyone in class is pitting by the sounds of it. Spotter's getting very excited. Alright, we get it.
I thought that something happened to you in P2 because I saw you disappear from P2 really early on. No, I just hit it the first chance I had. Sorry about that, Eric.
Alright, decent stint. I think I can take a smidge of fuel out from what I'd calculated, using a lot less than what I thought. We've got quite a lot of optional repairs there. Oh, I was expecting a bit of a countdown or something from the pit stop. You can tell I've not done many races with pit stops in them.
Thank you, bud.
Alright. Here we go again then. So we've got James in the Marlboro Ferrari just ahead of us. Gentle out the pits there, it's a dodgy one. Tyres will be cold from the pit stop, but that might be a good thing for me because I think I was superheating them. Need to make sure I don't run straight into a wall on cold tyres. Probably still over fuel by quite a fair way, but I didn't want to be running out of fuel in my first appearance in this series, that's for sure. Another little lift up on the wall. Again, not too bothered. Corvette can take that kind of abuse, I'd say. Alright, let's see what kind of lap times James is doing, see if we can start to catch him. He did an 18 that lap, which hopefully should be quite achievable for me. Get rid of another P2 from behind us. Alright, gap to James is 2.5 seconds then as we come down this back straight. Let's see if we're gaining or if he's pulling away from us. Just casually driven into the wall. We're 6/10 faster supposedly than James ahead on that lap.
I appreciate it, Shane, but you can just wait for the straightaway next time.
This traffic, holy crap. Andres, can you let me by, buddy, please?
Alright, this time back straight. We are 2.2, so we're taking 0.3 out of him.
Thank you.
Slowly catching, not sure if we're doing it fast enough with the amount of laps that are left. But hopefully he'll be watching that relative just as much as I am. And hopefully feeling the pressure. Gonna be an 18.1 this time for us round, or an 18.2 it's just gonna creep up to. Wait until the straight straightens out this time. Got it crash into a wall. It's only 1/10 out of James that lap. And here the cars just hop, skipping and jumping so much more now as the tyres are dying. Alright, another 2 or 3 tenths out of James this lap. I think we're going to run out of time though with only 2 or 3 laps remaining, I think. Going to keep hitting my apexes, hope that it's enough towards the end. Took an extra half a second out of him just in that last sector there. That was a turnout for the books. That's normally my weakest area of this track. I think that was a slow lap from him as opposed to a fast lap from me. It was in the 19s that time. Nice message from the spotter, 5 laps of fuel left, that's going to be plenty. No problems there. Alright, closing in on a second, then we'll start getting the draft as well.
Thank you.
Oh, and James hits the wall as well. And we nearly loop it coming through the outside of the turn, through the exit. Into 0.9 then. Will we white flag this lap or next lap? That's going to be the question. probably going to be next lap. I need to wait for a less technical section of the track to try and figure out where the leader is on the map. So that is going to dictate how many laps we're doing. I've got the feeling that James is missing the entire front of his car here. 0.6 across the line. It's going to be 2 more laps at least. And there's the mistake. Alright. Oh, dearie me. Well, sort of predicted that right in the opening stanza of the race when we first started, when we were following him right at the start of the race. That's a shame for him, it really is, because he was doing so well.
You got it, by car on the right.
I remember reading something on Reddit fairly recently, and it said that really the only difference between sort of your 2 to 3k range and your less than 2k range is just the mistakes, so the amount of mistakes and probably how catastrophic they are as well. So yeah, I've made a couple of mistakes of my own through this race, but they've not been race ending, thankfully for me. Speaking of, yellow flag ahead of us. Yellow flag's cleared. Do we trust it?
White flag.
Yep, all clear. Alfredo from P15 in our class ducks into the pits. Alright, the P2 behind us has probably just got the checkered flag, has he? Oh god, we missed the braking zone for that terribly. James in the Ferrari did at least recover to P6, so like we swapped positions, he didn't drop any further back. I thought he'd towed at one point, which was going to make me fairly sad. In fact, the standings on the left there are showing that he is in the pits, so that does suggest that he has towed, which is a shame. His car was definitely pretty battered and broken as I was coming up behind him. Maybe that last hit was just enough to finish him off.
Sorry, Nikita, for the beginning. I thought you left the space open for Simcow.
Alright, close to being lapped by our class leader by the looks of it. That was Dirk. But for our first time out in these things, and having started from P12, that's not a bad result, I'd say. A little bit of a schmozzle at the start. A bit of contact for us before we even crossed the line. Oh no, that's my class. Oh, Fernando is... oh dear me. He's not crossed the line and we're going to get P4 there, I'm sure we are. Oh no. Oh bless him. That's a nightmare. That is an absolute nightmare. What a great race. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. It's just so intense. It's so much more concentration than just your standard race, I'd say. Ah, bless me. Yeah, so sort of normally by 10 minutes in, you're just in your own rhythm, and that's, you know, just don't make a mistake till the end of the race, and that's going to be your finish position. Whereas with this, you're never safe, it's never set in stone. You could spin in the final hairpin on the last lap and get trumped for P4. But yeah, a lot of fun. I'll be doing a lot more of this through this season. This is sort of where my focus is. I'll be jumping around the different classes, getting it from all angles. I feel like this GTD is the hardest one to do, and same as in the one I did the other day when I was in the P2. Sort of the middle class I feel like is the hardest, just because you're attacking and defending all at the same time. But I have eyes and ears absolutely everywhere. But yeah, the more of these we can get, the merrier, I reckon. And happy to keep picking up some iRacing along the way as well. It's a turnout for the books that I wasn't quite expecting. Alright, that's going to be everything for this video, so if you did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up, really helps the channel out, and consider subscribing if you're new here and you've not done that already. Other than that, take it easy and look after yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.